Thank you very much, Maria. Welcome to the upper semifinals of the Magic World Championship. Ailey Loney alongside Cedric Phillips. And this is going to be a doozy, Cedric. I cannot wait to see these two Grixis decks go at it against each other here.
Extra turns aplenty, ideally, but this is what I'm very, very, very much looking forward to. Ondřej Stráský refuses to lose. We'll see if that run finally comes to its end, but he has been dominant this entire time, and that's a crazy thing to say when we're talking about the World Championship tournament here, but it's true. He's been dominant from start to not finished just yet.
Not finished yet.
But we'll see over the course of these games, and he feels very confident about game number one in this matchup.
As well, he should be. Quiet confidence leading him here. Excellent play the entire weekend, so I'm looking forward to seeing these two excellent players duking it out. As we get things underway, let's take a look at the opening hands here. Pretty good ones from both players. See that Celestus in hand there from Merkel. And we got some shenanigans going, but Demon Bolt, not exactly what you want to be rocking in this matchup here.
Yeah, that's not the card. That's not the card you're looking to put on Foretell or to have be foretold, as here is the Celestus, as you did mention. One of the big problems here for Merkel in the matchup, and I think both of these players do know this, is just the heavy amount of removal that the Grixis build does have, and you see that being very much shown here with Power Word Kill, Burn Down the House, Prismari Command. Yes, it's got some flexibility and some modality, absolutely, and then Smoldering Egg, not really a key card in this matchup either, and we already see that Stráský has plenty of answers to that card in the multiple copies of Demon Bolt. So this is looking pretty tough thus far for Merkel. Celestus has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, and both players said in their interviews that they think game one is going to go to Izzet Epiphany pretty easily. So if Jan Merkel is able to pick up the win in game number one, that's going to be a big, big deal.
Well, you got to get started somewhere, so how about a couple Hasty Devils, get some damage in that way? Maybe Ondřej's hand doesn't line up or come together all that well. I think that's what Merkel may be hoping for here.
And we've also seen over the course of the weekend just how much work little 1/1 tokens can get done, whether it be Elrond's Epiphanies, birds, or whether it's these devils. Just chipping away at that life total, getting them down within striking distance for those multiple turns, and picking up the victory with a Hall of the Storm Giants, that sort of thing.
Looks like we're going to play a main phase Memory Deluge around any thought of a counterspell or just anything in general. He's just working with perfect information here. So Unexpected Windfall and Field of Ruin are going to go to the grip. Field of Ruin is going to be a clean answer to the Creature Land and Hall of Storm Giants. Unexpected Windfall maybe a little bit later over the course of the game. So Stráský not underneath that much pressure, just feeling like, okay, I'll just do this right now and I'll be fine.
Stráský shields down. Gonna start off things this turn with a Smoldering Egg into Expressive Iteration. Try and find a couple more lands off the top of the library here for Merkel. It did draw Lear, Disciple of the Drowned, but that's something you definitely want to keep if you are the Grixis Epiphany. You want to keep that alive. You need something to protect it, whether it be Fading Hope. I think Fading Hope is the only interaction they do have to bounce it back to hand, so yeah, not going to be putting that onto an unprotected board.
Stráský already has the copies of Galvanic Iteration, just missing the namesake card of the deck right now in Elrond's Epiphany.
It's got several ways to dig to it, so let's see what he can find.
And again, not underneath that much pressure with just those three devils now. Epiphany can transform Smoldering Egg, and then some things do change, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does have that Demon Bolt tucked away just to deal with that little critter. I say little, but that Ashmouth Dragon has put in a lot of work and a ton of damage this weekend for this deck.
Yeah, it's been impressive. It really, really has been impressive this weekend. Smoldering Egg, the Dragon, the transformation, all of it has been really, really good. I saw a great game yesterday with Sperling almost making an amazing comeback with that card.
That was such a great game. But, I mean, we expect nothing less from players of this caliber. Down to 4. These are potentially... One of these guys is potentially our world champion, so let's see how their run in the top 4 goes. Let's see where Stráský goes from here.
Main phase, Unexpected Windfall. You know, discard a card, make a couple treasures, draw a couple cards, play Field of Ruin as your land for the turn, which you can cash in the treasures to activate if he so chooses. Picking up that copy of Jawari Disruption might actually matter here. We'll see, and we already know about the Demon Bolt that's hanging out over there that's been foretold. But again, as Stráský has been doing some digging with Expressive Iteration and Unexpected Windfall, he is still struggling to find the namesake card of his strategy. So it's not the best of starts. Now here's Epiphany looking to transform Smoldering Egg. So here we go.
So this is actually kind of neat, where Demon Bolt can take care of the egg and can also Joy Disruption Auron's Epiphany.
Yeah, you got to cash in some resources to do it, but it might just be worth it. So it looks like we're going to see the disruption right now on the Epiphany. We might just see the bolt now on the egg too. So
yeah, because the egg will transform regardless of the spell resolving, but it's not going to get a chance, as that foretold Demon Bolt takes care of a potential Ashmouth Dragon making an appearance.
Turn ends up being a pretty good one there for Stráský. He's going to fall down to 11. A copy of Fading Hope can take care of one of these tokens. If he wants to go about copying it, he can take care of another. So that also will give him the potential for some scrying as well. Again, the hand's not coming together that well, but you also, again, just got to remember that he's not really underneath that much pressure. He can kind of control the pressure with Demon Bolt and Fading Hope. So it's not the prettiest of starts here for Stráský, but, you know, he's hanging around.
Yeah. Still at a healthy 11. If he'd really wanted to, he could Galvanic Iteration twice and then Fading Hope to get rid of all of the threats on the board, but doesn't look like he's too interested in that.
Yeah, with the backup iteration in hand, I'm curious if he wants to just cash one of these in. So there's 2 copies of Fading Hope or not. He looks like he's going to play a Snarl, reveal that mountain. Yeah, okay. Wasn't sure if this is the move he wanted to make here. Looks like he's just going to foretell a Demon Bolt. Okay.
Happy to end the turn there. Pass it back to Merkel. It's going to go to nighttime, so let's see if we want to discard and draw here for Merkel.
I also do think if you're Stráský, you want to leave Field of Ruin up in case there's a Hall of Storm Giants activation, and if there's not one in combat, that's when you can do your copying of Fading Hope and go about things that way. So
I certainly don't want to make it easy here for Merkel to just slam a Hall of Storm Giants in with these 3 devils. That would be bad news, Bears.
Yeah. Well,
we're gonna go for it.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially, well, tapped out is Jan Merkel, so whatever Stráský wants to do can do it now, and it's going to target the Hall of Storm Giants and pay the ward 3 on it. Perhaps. Let's see, is he gonna? Yep.
Okay. Back to the grip. Burned out and interesting.
Burn down kills them, but I don't know if that's where he wants to go right now, because it'll still take 3 from the death triggers.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of clean everything up, but then it also taps you fairly low on mana. It looks like he is going to leave it on top. I suppose he could always just go... one of the options this turn, potentially, is Iteration, burn down the house, make 6 devils. That's maybe a thing that he wants to do. He could also just cast Burn Down the House for some devils. That's what makes these Epiphany decks so difficult to play, of course, is that you just have a ton of options, because a lot of your cards have a lot of flexibility. How and when do you want to use Galvanic Iteration? Foretelling Alrund's Epiphany as opposed to just casting it. How to work this Memory Deluge, especially the flashback into the equation. A lot of options in this deck.
Well, right now, it's a matter of let's survive here for Stráský. So I don't think we're going to see a Memory Deluge. Demon Bolt isn't really effective against the incoming attackers. So it's going to have to be Burn Down the House, which is just whether or not it's going to be galvanically iterated.
Stráský, for as much as we've watched him dominate this weekend, seems a little unsure of himself right now. Okay.
On Merkel's side of things, He's got Prismari Command, Galvanic Iteration, and Expressive Iteration alongside Lear, Disciple of the Drowned, so plenty of things for him to do here. Gotta like his position right now in a game that both these players didn't think Merkel would win.
Yeah, Merkel feels like he's a dog. Stráský feels like, in his own words, he more or less said, this is me paraphrasing, the game one's easy.
Yeah. I think he said basically unwinnable. Not entirely sure, but...
Or unlosable.
Yeah, unlosable, excuse me. That was the gist of it. Unfortunately, the draws haven't lined up for him here, as Merkel is just laying the beat down with these devils.
Stráský down to 5. Don't really have to worry about direct damage or anything. I guess Prismari Command. Yeah, that's a thing. Okay.
Is there enough to Galvanic Iteration, Demon Bolt, and pay the ward? I think there is for a whole of Storm Giants. But then you have to pay ward twice? So you need 6 just for that? It's not enough.
Yeah. Still have Field of Ruin for Hall of Storm Giants.
Whichever one gets activated, that can be dealt with. Man, this is a very, very difficult situation for Stráský to be in.
So if you're Jan, you might be thinking end step, iteration,
Command,
flashback iteration, Prismari Command.
Yeah, because that would be...
That's 6 damage. Right? Because it's 3 copies?
Yeah.
And it's, 2 damage and then pick another mode.
And only, 2 could be countered if you Galvanic and divide by 0.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
But like, this might be what Jan was trying to set up, which is a lot of the time in this matchup, and for good reason, you're like, I'm not going to get burned out. That's not a thing.
Well, there is a card that does damage.
Yeah, there is a Prismari Command here. Okay, so you iteration again.
And it's a single copy of, so let's see. Okay, he's going for it. I like it. 6 damage coming in hot. Stráský is going to have to counter 1, if not 2 of these, just to protect the life total a little bit.
And now what this also might set up, too, is this might set up Jan's ability to peel out here. And also there is a Lear in hand. Okay, so this is actually really, really creative, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do this for 6, right? This forces Stráský to have some number of answers. And then Jan also has the ability to just, on his turn, as he untaps, because this is taking place on Ondřej's end step, for him to play Lear, cast Prismari Command, deal 2 more to you. So this is him effectively having the ability to deal 8 points of burn damage.
That's quite good. And even if Stráský is able to leave up the Field of Ruin, what you've just described, Cedric, would be lethal without needing to activate Hall of the Storm Giants.
Yeah, okay, so there's the Galvanic.
Goodness me. Now, does he... Oh, if he does it 3 times, he will be dead.
Yeah.
To a hole.
Okay, so you let this one resolve. Here's a copy. Okay, so divide by 0. This and this. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We're going to bounce the Celestis.
Interesting. So Stráský's at 1.
Okay. So now this resolves.
Oh, that hurts.
And is this... Oh, that was a good draw. I wasn't going to bring up that if he drew Epiphany, he might be able to just go about doing things that way.
Yeah.
Just like another turn. The birds matter when the opponent's at 1. And now, oh my, is this just... Well, this is Lear...
Lear lethal.
This is Lear lethal because the spell can't be countered.
Yeah, there's no counterspell in hand for Stráský. Lear's going to hit the board.
Lear's text spell can't be countered.
Yep, no counterinos for anybody. He's just going to go back into the graveyard, grab that Prismari Command, and get the victory in unexpected fashion, that's for sure.
A little burnout? a little burn ski?
Oh my goodness.
I guess you got to think about divide by 0.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that can interact.
Yeah, because it's not your traditional counterspell. It's bouncing the card back. But do you just if you're Jan, do you just say to yourself, look, the matchup's so bad, game one, I'm just going to let it rip and see how it goes?
Oh, he's going to pass the turn back. What if he tries to fight by 0?
He could also, there's also the ability to say, I'm going to pick my spot and when I'm going to try to do this. And so he's going to do it on Stráský's upkeep before he draws.
And there's nothing Stráský can do.
I don't. Oh
my goodness me!
Wow, this is a creative way to win a game in this matchup.
Wow, that was so cool.
Stráský's looking over.
Picks up game 1.
Yep, he does. Wow.
Look at that, raise the eyebrows. He's just like, wait, I did that? Yeah, you did. You sure did. Goodness.
Wow. So that's not what I thought was going to happen early this morning, which was a burn-out victory via Prismari command and the devils of burn down the house. But sometimes when the matchup is bad, you got to get a little bit creative, and Jan was able to do that as Stráský was just kind of stumbling and fumbling around.
Yeah, didn't find Epiphany, couldn't set up those multiple turns in a row that we've seen this deck win via. So just excellently played there by Merkel, and Stráský's going to have to rely on a little bit of extra help from the sideboard against Merkel to keep his win streak going.
Yeah, a little surprised over the course of that game, especially when Stráský found that copy of Fading Hope. That Fading Hope went towards the Hall of Storm Giants as opposed to some tokens and copying with Galvanic and things like that. Naturally, I imagine Stráský had plenty of reasons for making the line of plays that he did, but I was a little bit surprised by that, as those Devil tokens dealt double digits worth of damage.
Yeah. They did the majority of it. I mean, Hall of Storm Giants, yeah, you gotta respect it. It can kill you out of nowhere, but those little guys, they did all the work. And then, of course, Prismari Command came in and stole their thunder, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, this is... That first game is one that's going to stick with me for a while, too, because both players are more or less on the same page about it. Stráský feeling like the game one is incredibly good for him, and Merkel feeling similarly. Now, things get really interesting, Ailey, is... After sideboard, I love the cards that Merkel gets access to with Duress, with Go Blank, with Malignant Hermit. Like, he gets some real juice after sideboard.
Oh, no. This is just the perfect hand here for Merkel being on the draw. He's just like, hey, what you got? Okay, I'm going to take some of this, some of that.
Yep. Easy selection there of an expressive iteration via the Duress. Not only do you take what is, in my opinion, Stráský's best card in his hand, but now you also get the information of, all right, he's got to burn down the house. I don't care much about. A Burning Hands, I don't care a ton about.
Yeah.
An Unexpected Windfall, okay, good to know. And just one more land. Now, he did pick up a Jwari Disruption in the interim, but you love to have that information in the control mirror like this.
Yeah, for sure. Just gives you such a good advantage against your opponent, as we're going to see Jan Merkel fire off Go Blank. Little does he know that there is a Jwari Disruption ready and waiting, so no touchy, says Ondřej Stráský.
Well, it's a good thing for Stráský that he does have that, because that would be a kind of a pain in the butt. Now, Stráský's hand, once again, not particularly good of the cards that Merkel does know, and for the one that he doesn't, Galvanic Iteration, that's a high ceiling effect, don't get me wrong, but not having an impact on things right now at all.
Yeah, didn't draw a second red source, so can't fire off that Unexpected Windfall, and a second Duress being drawn here for Jan Merkel, so I'm curious to see if he'll fire it off here, or just happy to pass a turn back and Memory Deluge on the end step.
Yeah, very, very good question here. Duress is a card so integral in this matchup and in this style of matchup, but it's a really good thing to kind of lead out with to clear the path. Obviously, if you have it on turn one, a lot of the time you're going to want to cast it to just see what the heck's going on and how the next couple of turns are going to transition. But when you get into the mid and late game, you use it as kind of like a bulldozer to get your real thing through.
Yeah. Clear the way, make sure my stuff isn't going to get countered, and now an excellent opportunity for this Test of Talons that Stráský's drawn. Is he going to fire it off here against the Memory Deluge? Doesn't look like it, so quite happy just to let that go. Oh no, he did go for it.
That's long gone. That's long gone. Get that weak stuff out of here. That's a heck of a draw step there from Stráský, because Deluge was a way for Jan to kind of pull ahead here. And now Stráský's also getting some information here as well as to what the heck is going on in your hand and everything else. So really, really good draw step.
I love it. Test of Talents is like a meaner duress. Oh, you wanna look at my hand? Sure. I'm gonna look through your hand, your library, and your graveyard. I'm gonna take all your stuff too. Okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, I think one thing that's nice here, if you're Jan, you're clear for takeoff with this Lear to just say, hey, I'm going to drop this thing on the battlefield and you do your worst. You saw him cross his fingers up there. He said, hey, if I get to untap with this thing, these discard spells are firing off and you are probably dead.
Now, there is a way to get him off the board here and divide by 0. Sure, it's not great. There's still no second red source for a burn down the house, an unexpected windfall, anything like that. And he's going to have to use it here.
And divide by 0 is the kind of card that's going to buy a little bit of time. And we're going to see if Ondřej wants to learn or if he wants to draw this card.
Yeah, I think he wants to get something out of his hand, try to find another land.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's technically a land.
Yeah, but certainly doesn't feel like it for him right now. He's thinking, where's a second red source? Where's anything? He's not even going to play the disruption. So go blank is the draw.
Oh, man. So if Merkel wants to, he can pick and choose first and foremost with duress and then go blank and be like, okay, well, of your 3 remaining spells, get rid of 2 of them, please. This is not great.
This is pretty filthy, this go blank draw, because we could see him lead with go blank and then duress something, but it looks like he's just going to put Stráský to the test again and say, here's Lear. You dealt with it with divide by 0 last turn, which is indicative of you don't have a clean answer. So how about we try again? And I've gotten untap with my busted card. This is about to get real ugly for Stráský.
Yeah, his draws have not been favorable in this game. Duress can't be countered. Nothing can be countered. Gonna take a look here and just start picking apart the hand. He has 2 black mana to work with, so we'll see which way Jan Merkel goes the rest of his turn. But what do you take here? Unexpected windfall? Iteration?
Well, multiple copies of that. You can make an argument for disruption right now because it's a land drop. You can also make a very strong argument for burn down the house. Remember, none of the spells can be countered, so you don't really have to worry about disruption's counter aspect. It's more of like you're kind of, you're taking a land that ETB's tapped. So, I mean, this hand is just going to get shredded apart, I have to imagine. Because now we can go blank from the graveyard.
Yeah.
And we haven't even played our land yet for the turn, which could be Blightstep Pathway, and then play the duress that's also in hand.
He's just going to rip it to shreds. My goodness me. Blightstep Pathway of the land. That can be played here still for Merkel. So duress number 2. Gonna take some more goodies out of hand.
Now we're gonna go blank.
Oh, it's so rough. I mean, yeah, if you're Stráský, you gotta hang on to that windfall and hope like heck you find another land to cast it. But even then, it's uncastable because you have to discard as a cost.
Yep. Yeah, so he's just stuck with that card. They're smashing, so there's the next red source. That's just going to ETB tap, pass the turn back. Stráský's probably going to lose this windfall to the duress, or we could just start going the bird route now. And now it's just it's just going to be a runaway.
Yeah. You untap with Lear, you are in the driver's seat very firmly. Stráský knows it. Merkel knows it. Now it is just time to get smacking with these creatures.
It's one of the scariest aspects of this Grixis deck. As powerful as this deck is with the Celestis and all the Epiphany shenanigans that you can do, one of the difference makers and one of the reasons these 4 players are playing this deck is they really, really liked Lear. Not only in the mono green matchup, but also in this one. If you get to untap with it, it's extremely difficult to lose. And we are seeing that here in a very big way.
We are indeed, as this game is looking like it's Jan Merkel's. Just want to point out that the person who wins here has 6 games to go if they want to be world champion. The loser, 6 matches. That is an incredible difference. Ondřej Stráský is going to scoop it up. Jan Merkel with a 2-0 in a match he wasn't super confident about, but he is 1 step closer to becoming the world champion and ends Stráský's win streak, Cedric.